Good morning. Good morning. This is BK Alliance Mortgage Group, but you all knew that already because you're tuning into my Facebook Live. It is July, so we are still continuing with our Julying to Me. No, just kidding. We're continuing with our conversation with lawyers covering a wide variety of topics. So with me today is Jennifer Lewis. She is with Lewis Matthews PC. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Absolutely fantastic. How are you?
I am doing fantastic as well.
Good. Everybody, I met Jennifer through the connection network that I keep talking about. How if you need anything, if you need a roofer or a painter or an accountant, a lawyer, anything like that, please come to me. I know lots of very, very qualified people. That's how I actually got hooked up with Jennifer in the first place, was through that network, just kind of asking some questions. And I was introduced with her and we hit it off, and think that she's got some very valuable information that she's going to be able to provide for you. So Jennifer, take a second, introduce yourself, but you have to, so talk a little bit about who you are, how you got into this, but then you also have to answer my very favorite question, which is you have to tell us something not a lot of people know about you.
All right. Well, thank you. My name is Jennifer Lewis. I'm a family law attorney here in Denver, Colorado. I have been practicing exclusively family law for the last 10 years. People ask me, how can you stand it? But, no, all jokes aside, it is a very important area of the law to help people transition and move forward when they're having to go through a divorce or child custody battle. A fun fact is that since I was a small child, about 10 years old or so, I have been involved in training and showing my dogs. Right now, I have a pair of border collies that I compete with in obedience competitions and dog shows. And so that's something that I really enjoy, and it helps alleviate a lot of stress, and it's really fun to work with them, and they actually demand it. So
Nice. That's something I didn't even know. That's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah, thank you.
So show dogs, I like it.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the questions that popped up is, what areas does family law cover? Because one of the things is I've been diving in, trying to network with family law practitioners. Is I very quickly, one of the first meetings I ever had, I learned that you are not a divorce lawyer, you are a family law attorney. And so what all does that cover? Because everyone just automatically immediately goes to divorce, but what else is covered within that area of your expertise?
Well, yes, not only are there divorce cases that we work on, there's also child custody cases and cases involving child support, modification of decrees. So, for example, you have a custody order that is no longer working for you and you need to have that tweaked. We do that. We also handle prenup agreements, postnup agreements, cohabitation agreements. So, for example, you're thinking you want to go ahead and get married, and you were married before, you have kids from a prior relationship. You want to make sure that there are provisions for those kids in the event of a divorce, or perhaps you're a business owner and you don't want to risk possibly losing part of your business in a divorce. And so family law encompasses a wide range of topics, but generally it's focused on the family and how we can assist you moving forward in whatever direction you need to go.
Awesome. So we've been talking a lot throughout this series of, we've had a bunch of different lawyers on, and they've all kind of specialized. And we had a counselor that started our month off with us. So let's say it does, the counseling has run its course, and unfortunately it's deciding that it's moving towards the divorce route. What are the steps that people can take to make it easier for them, or to make it a lot less stressful? Because everyone knows that this process is not an easy process. So what are some things that you found in the past that can help?
Exactly. I think first off, you should think about practical considerations. So, for example, if you are going to have to move forward with a divorce, what are you going to do for your living arrangements? Is one person going to move out, or are you going to try and nest together while you go through this process? A dissolution of marriage process in Colorado takes a minimum of 91 days. That's a 91-day waiting period. And so you have to think about, how are you going to pay your rent or your mortgage? If you have two households, what does that look like? Is somebody going to move out? And then also, if you have children, how are you going to handle telling the children, the parenting time situation? So those are practical considerations that you need to think about. And then there's the consideration also of gathering the financial information that you have and starting to talk to lawyers. I suggest talking to several lawyers to see which lawyer is the best fit for you. And just you can come and talk to me, and there's no obligation to hire me at that moment in time, but I can give you some valuable advice as to what you need to be thinking about, what information do you gather, and how do you move forward with this process.
Okay. No, that's wonderful. One of the questions that popped up in chat, and I think it's a really good one, is how is Colorado? We're in a crazy market. How do you think that the hot Colorado real estate market has affected divorces?
Well, it has affected divorces in terms of the fact that property has gone up so much in value. And quite frankly, a home is usually the major asset that a couple has. And so you bought a home 3-4 years ago and you had a mortgage that was compatible with the price back then. And now the home has gone up significantly in value. And so what are you going to do? Are you going to just go ahead and sell the home? Are you going to try and cash out the other party? Are you going to try and use another asset to offset the value of that home? And BK, when we talked, we discussed how you can really help clients come up with creative financing solutions in the event of a divorce. And so that was really helpful to get your insight on that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just to kind of reiterate that one of the things that not a lot of people know, and you want to work with a valued, lender who knows what they're doing. A lot of times people will consider it cash out. A lot of lenders will consider it cash out when one party is buying out the other. And cash out is a quote unquote riskier loan. So it costs significantly more in terms of cost and financing on the back end. Whereas if you have a lender who knows what they're doing and understands the rules and the ins and outs of it, if one spouse is buying out another spouse, or one partner is buying out another partner, let me use my terms correctly, it doesn't matter. As long as they've been on title, it's not considered a cash out. It's considered a rate and term refinance, and we're just taking equity from the home to buy out the other person. And that's going to save people thousands and thousands of dollars, and I hope alleviate just a little bit of that stress that's possible.
Exactly. And another situation that we are seeing is a couple, one party has a house that person has brought into the marriage. And in Colorado, that increase in value of that piece of real estate during the marriage is considered marital and subject to division. And so someone might have a condominium, for example, in the mountains that was worth $90,000 10 years ago, and now it's worth $500,000, where that increase in value is marital and subject to division. And so you've got, if you want to keep that asset, you're going to have to figure out a way to basically equalize the other partner. And so, and that process can be really stressful. The other things that we see are issues with child custody and trying to figure out what is in the best interest of the children. And again, I encourage couples to think about the impact that this is having on their children and try to work this out as amicably as possible, because it's going to impact your kids. Look, it's stressful for everybody. So I tell people, consider mediation. That is court ordered in most cases, and it is a very effective tool in resolving your situation. I work with clients and mediators, and we are able to resolve most cases in a mediated fashion. And it really does help alleviate the stress when you're able to control your own destiny. Maybe you're not totally happy with the result. It's a compromise, but it's something that you've decided to do that you can live with. And it's better than having a judge tell you what's going to happen with your life. So.
Absolutely. And those are all steps of the process that if somebody decided to hire you and go with you, those are all the parts of the process that you're able to help people with.
Exactly. And so what we do an initial intake with folks. And, there's no obligation to hire me at the conclusion of the consult. I give you as much advice as possible. I ask you to bring in your financial information if you're interested in having child support or spousal support worksheets run. We can do that. I'll talk to you about what the process looks like. And then at that point, you can make a decision moving forward. But should you choose to hire us, we really focus on getting your case resolved for you. So we'll schedule mediation very early in the process, and with the goal of keeping the cost down as much as possible and trying to find a streamlined resolution for you. Because look, this is really stressful. And we realize that. I've been through a divorce. My law associate, Christina Friedman's been through a divorce. We know what it feels like. And so we're trying to make it as seamless for you as possible.
Thank you. And you've kind of already answered this, but I want to ask it again in another way. What would separate you? Why would I go with Matthew's Family Law or versus anybody else?
Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, I almost hate to admit it, but I've been a practicing attorney for 33 years. So there's a lot of experience. I've done other areas of the law. I've done criminal defense, personal injury, contract disputes. So I'm familiar with a wide area of law that comes up in family law cases. And so maybe someone owns a business, maybe someone has a personal injury claim out there. So there's a wealth of experience. And then also, I really care about what happens to my clients. I really care about getting the best result for them possible. And a lot of them will call me a couple years down the line and express gratitude for our services. And then the third reason is that we're very fair and reasonable with our charges. I think about what if I was having to pay this bill, how I would feel. So I have conversations with my attorney, my clients throughout the process as to how can we keep the costs down? How can we make this efficient as possible? And so those reasons would be why you'd want to select me over somebody else.
That's wonderful, and that feeds perfectly into what I wanted to ask next, which is I know it's been scrolling at the bottom of the screen, but some people are they only listen. So share with us how people can get a hold of you. What's the best way to reach out to you?
Well, I'd encourage people to go to our website. It's www.matthews with two T's familylawyers.com. We have a wealth of information on the website. You can read up about various kinds of cases. And then you can call my office at 303-329-3802 or email me directly at jlewis@matthewslaw.com. And I do want to mention that we have a mountain office. We have an office in Dillon, Colorado. So we do service Summit, Eagle counties, so in Grand County as well. So if you are a resident up in the mountains and need an attorney, you don't have to come to Denver. We can meet with you up there and handle your cases up in those mountain communities.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you. And I want to thank you for your time as well. You've shared a wide variety of fantastic information, and I very much appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And I've enjoyed talking with you, and I'm very impressed with the information that you've given me about how you can assist folks in creative refinancing options for them. And again, you're a great resource, and I'm very glad that we've connected.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. For the rest of you, thank you so much for tuning into our live. Hope you got some value out of this. Next week is going to be a makeup week from last week because I was out of town. So we are going to interview one more lawyer. He is going to talk about, I believe he's going to talk about wills and trusts and pre-planning life and stuff like that. So it should be absolutely fantastic there. And then we already have our theme for August. I'm actually ahead of the curve this time. Woohoo! we have our theme for August planned, and it's all going to be accountants. So we're going to have accountants hop on. I think some of them, we're still kind of working out the details as far as the topics go, but I think someone's going to talk about being a first-time home buyer and what that looks like as far as in accounting and your taxes and stuff like that. I know somebody else wants to talk about investment properties and stuff like that. So we should have a wide variety, and it probably won't all be mortgage related either, because you guys know I don't care who's on. I just want to give you value. So as always, if you're looking to purchase or refinance, send them, come my way. Rates are really low right now. We can help people save money. And if you have any topics that you're interested in, leave them in the comments below. But with that, thank you guys. Take care.